This is my off-grid adventure here. This is where it all began 4 years ago. On December 18th, right when COVID was getting fired up, I saw things starting to change in the world. And not for the better, so I knew I had to kind of make a change in my life. You know, I wasn't happy with my work or my so-called career. You know, had another farm in southern Ontario. You know, I was always just caught up with the hustle and bustle of life and materialism. You know, working for the new diesel truck or new hot tub or whatever materialism I thought was important at that time in my life. But I kind of just came to a point where none of that stuff really mattered. You know, I'd buy something, it would make me happy for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, who knows, half a year maybe. But I was never really happy. I worked for a lot of different places that didn't really care for me as a person or as an individual, didn't care for my feelings, or they just wanted my skill. So be it, I get that. But as a man, I knew that I had to change. And my change was to leave that sort of life behind. Chasing money and all the things that really didn't make me happy. So when COVID fired up, I decided to sell my house and my farm. And I moved out into the woods in central Saskatchewan. Right in December. Right here, right in this little hut. These 2 oil lamps were my first way that I lit this place up, because there was no electricity, there was no plumbing. There was this wood stove, which I was thankful to have. But that was it. Me and my dog packed up my life and we moved out here on this adventure. It was scary. I didn't really know what I was doing. But I knew I had to make a change. For the better. So I packed everything up and I drove out here. Gave probably half of my stuff away. Left my bees in Ontario. Just gave them to the new owner. I couldn't clearly bring them out in December. Gave some of the tools and stuff that I had around my farm to my friends. Ones that helped me move. And I drove out here. My buddy Chris and I came out to this property, and we couldn't get into the driveway. It was all snowed in, and so I bought an old gasoline Craftsman snowblower, I think for $300 or something. And I blew out the driveway and got my truck in here. And I sat here in this place, alone, quiet, wondering what the heck I had just done. And it was kind of a shock because I had no friends here. I had my one good friend, Chris, but that was it, no family. And it was real. When I came here and I was here alone, it really kind of sunk in that, all right, this is it. This is go time. So I originally bought 10 acres here in Saskatchewan because the price of land was quite cheap. And I started this off-grid adventure of mine. Yeah, this is my 4th winter here now. I have plumbing, I have air conditioning, I have electricity. I expanded the house, so now it's 800 square feet. It's pretty small, but it's enough for myself. I don't spend much time in the house as I'm always busy out gardening or hunting, gathering, doing outside activities, really enjoying being in nature. So yeah, that's just a little bit of the start of, why I decided to do this. The taste of freedom of not having a mortgage, not having any bills at all, was pretty sweet, and that kind of showed itself every month to me that I didn't have to chase the money just to survive, right? That the bank wasn't going to come take my land or my house away because I was a little short on a mortgage payment, or whatever, when life happens seems to catch up on us. So yeah, I started building out here. I had no power, I had no electricity, so I learned how to go to the washroom quickly outside in -40. I mean, you have to go faster, things freeze up. But yeah, it was about 4 months in, I found a 8 kilowatt solar system down in southern Alberta. It's a fully automated system with a 3-cylinder diesel Kubota diesel generator with 1,500 liters of fuel as backup. 20 gel batteries. So I had that trucked over here, and we plugged that in here, so I had some power, and that was pretty sweet, man, I'll tell you that. You don't really think about, just electricity or running water for that matter till you don't have it. And yeah, it's, if you have those things, just be thankful, because I know there's lots of people out there that don't. So we had some power here now, and as spring came along, I started building. I built a garden. And I just started getting some ideas on, how I wanted to live on this piece of property, what was important to me. Now when I was buying, or in the process of buying land, I had to look for a few things. I wanted to be close to water for the fish. I like to fish, and fish is a good source of clean protein for myself. I wanted somewhere that had woods, because where there's woods, there's animals, either to hunt or trap. I do a lot of archery hunting as my primary source of hunting. I do have some rifles as well, but I really enjoy archery hunting for deer as my primary source of meat. So when I was trying to pick out this area, there was a few things that I wanted to be close to. Water, woods, not only just for the animals, for the hunting and trapping, but also for my fire. I wanted to be able to cut my own wood and heat my own house. I didn't want to have to pay an electrical bill to heat my house or rely on propane or natural gas, because those things clearly just keep going up and up and up. The next thing that I had to kind of figure out was there water in the soil? So from Google Earth, I kind of assessed that there were some bodies of water around this area, so that was kind of promising to me. But there was also big mature trees, a lot of them. So that kind of just told me that like there had to be a good water source. If these trees were that big, they were drawing water from somewhere. So that spring, I had a buddy of mine come out, and he introduced me to this thing called water witching, or witching for water. And he came over and he said, man, yeah, it looks like you have a good source of water under here. And I said, really? He's like, yeah. He had this big, I don't know, 6 foot, maybe 8 foot steel rod, and he balanced it on 2 fingers. And he actually just like kind of walked around my land, and this big steel bar started like, you know, pulling to the ground like this. And I didn't really understand what was going on because I never experienced that or done witching for water myself. There's several different ways, I guess. You can use like a willow branch and bend it over in a Y, and you can use coat hangers and bend them and they cross. And anyways, kind of left it to the professionals. He said to me, you have good water. So I ended up getting a postal auger, and I just started boring to the earth bit by bit. Found water about 18 feet, and I put in a well. I had did some work for a friend, a neighbor of mine actually, just to help keep my mind sane, get me out of the house a bit, but did some work for him, and he was nice enough to come over with his excavator, and we put in a 36-inch fiberglass cribbing for the well. Lord blessed me with a good source of water, good water column, this nice sandy soil. There was no stones, so I had water in here. Started doing the plumbing, hooked up a toilet and a shower. Yeah, so as I kind of describe to you guys, or tell you about my story here and why I decided to live this way, was because essentially I just wasn't happy living with how society told me I needed to live. You know? So I moved out here, started working, and things started getting better in my life, you know, when kind of quit the drinking, quit messing around, quit weed. Not like I smoked it a lot, but any little vice that I could get to help me get away from the stresses of my life, right? Like, you know, whatever it may be, relationships or money or just hardships or turmoil in our lives. You know, we always kind of have little things we like to entertain or just help get our minds off that, but try to put those things away for the most part. And when I did that, things started getting better for me, not only mentally but physically. I started working 6 days a week. I started waking up early, making my bed every day, surrounding myself with positivity, and just not having that stress of you know, the bills, making ends meet, was a huge burden off me. It was like these chains had been broken off of this, like, felt like I was a slave to the system when I was in Ontario, you know. I had a lot more stuff, but all that stuff took a lot more attention, maintenance, costs, insurance, and it was all this burden that was weighing down on me. And then when I got rid of that, it's like these chains just broke away, and I didn't have to worry any longer about all these bills and paying for it and how I had to pay for it through my job or my career. Those things were gone. And then I just really had to start thinking about real life things, like growing a garden. How I was going to eat for this season or for the winter time coming up, right? How I was going to heat my house or, just survive here in the woods. So I wrote things down, and I had goals that I wanted to achieve each year. Electricity was a big one. Running water was my biggest. My dog, myself, my chickens, my cats, everything needs the water. So we had water. Then I started building. I built the wood shelter to keep my wood dry, let it air out. Built a beautiful garden. I built a chicken coop to raise some hens for the eggs and for the meat. Things started coming together quite nicely for me. But I'll tell you, it wasn't always super easy. There was times that, I sat here and cried, thinking, what did I do? Why did I do this? I debated giving it all up because it was a lot of work. My body was tired. My hands hurt. There was a lot of bloody days and a lot of close calls too, trying to figure out how I was going to survive here in the woods alone. Ain't nobody coming to look for me. If I slip or fall or something happens to me, that nobody's coming to look for me. Nobody's coming to check up on me. That was sad, really, knowing that, besides God looking down on me, there was nothing else. There was nobody around. Thankfully, I survived. I got over those trials and those tribulations of being alone in the woods. Still alone in the woods, but living pretty comfortably now. But I didn't give up. I stuck through it, and I worked every day, 6 days a week. I took the 7th day just to rest because my body and my mind needed it. It didn't mean that I just laid on the couch. I'd go for walks, I'd go for a snowshoe ride, snowshoe or cross-country skis. But I let my mind and my body rest from the physical aspect of work. So yeah, my off-grid adventure was by far the best decision I'd ever done in my life. To give up all the worldly stuff, new cars, big house, all the entertainment, it really just sucked my life out of me because I had to work for somebody that didn't really essentially even care for me. They'd probably have my job posted faster on Craigslist or wherever they post them now, Kijiji, faster than probably if I were to die and have a obituary. They probably have my job posted because the world goes on, right? As I kind of look back and think on this journey that I've been on here in the woods in Saskatchewan, there's been a lot of ups and downs, that's for sure. but it's been good. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about like myself and self-growth and, you know, patience, love, kindness, helping your neighbors out, you know, just not fully concentrating on yourself, you know, putting others before you. This was all new to me. These gifts I never had before because I was so caught up with myself, you know, with pride and you know, chasing that dollar, man. I really became disconnected from who I was, you know, as a young man, where I really used to laugh a lot and be more playful, right? I lost those things. I lost who I was. I lost my creativity. But all those natural gifts that we have like that when we were younger, they all came back to me because I kind of found out who I was again. But I had to kind of just step back out of this world of, you know, the internet and entertainment and media. And now that I'm away from it, I don't think I'll ever go back. I still don't actually have any data on my phone. I never even thought I'd make a YouTube station or channel or whatever it's called. But a few people had come out to the homestead and suggested to me, hey, Chris, man, you ever thought about doing that and showing some people the things that you have done? And I was like, no, man, there's no way I want to do that, you know. Things are going good out here. I don't want to overcomplicate my life. And as more and more people kind of suggested to me that maybe I make a channel or station, whatever, the more it kind of made me think like maybe I should, you know. Maybe I could teach somebody how to put a well in or make a front walkway, how to fillet a fish, or how to plant a garden, how to work over your soil in your garden, how to give back to nature when it gives to you, you know. You just don't take and take and take and take. You take some and you give some. There's a balance there. If I could teach somebody how to hunt a deer with a bow and arrow, or, you know, how to set some snares for coyotes if you're having some predation problems, you know, and maybe this channel doesn't go very far, but I'm actually kind of enjoying this, you know, talking to a little black camera beside my fire. Helps me reflect too on the day or on the project, or just myself as a man, you know. Kind of look back at how long ago it was when I actually thought I was a man, but I wasn't. I fell so short of being a man. It's probably why I'm single. Mistreated a lot of people through pride. You know, I wasn't very considerate. But that's changed. That's changed with time. I found out who I am again. And my worth. Maybe some people watching this were like, yeah, we know Christopher. We know Christopher Robin. He was a jerk. He was selfish. You had a hot temper. And you're right, I did. I was all those things. You know, and if I've hurt you or mistreated you, I apologize for that. So yeah, as this fire burns down, and I sit here in front of you guys, opening up with this journey or adventure that I'm on, you know, I just kind of wanted to share with you guys a little bit of why I decided to do this. And the change in my life because I did this. If anybody out there is unhappy, you can change. Don't be scared of the work. Work's okay. Because usually when there's work, there's reward. Whether that's with yourself or with your hands. So I just encourage anybody that's watching this or thinking about stepping away from everyday life and the hustle and bustle of it. You're really thinking about pursuing this way. I fully encourage you to think about it a lot. And then if you decide to do it, that you go 110% into it. Because you will change for the better. Look at these. Hey, boots. You know, kind of opened up a bit there with you guys about my life and this adventure. And who I am, you know. Not a professional YouTuber. I'm not a professional off-grid or whatever they're called. Just a dude out in the woods, living my best life. Alright. I hope you all take care. And hopefully catch you on my next episode. I have a lot of things to show you guys. Alright.